Okay, so for our third and last topic, which will be a gridlock, we will be discussing the death penalty and in many ways how it applies to today, current cases, etc. We'll start with Devin.
Okay, to start my argument, I would say that theoretically the death penalty may be acceptable, but within our current jurisprudence and court system, I don't find it to be acceptable as it errs far too often.
See, I think right now people are overreacting to the Troy Davis case because Troy Davis was most likely an innocent man, and he was executed. But I'm not against the death penalty because I'm just against wrongful convictions, and I'm against wrongful convictions in general, whether or not it's going to lead to the death penalty or just 20 years in jail, 10 years in jail. We should have very strict guidelines on whether we put people in jail, and even stricter guidelines if we're going for the death penalty itself.
See, I completely agree with Adam because I think we need it because there's a lot of cases that prison time is just no retribution for it. It's nothing compared to the act of atrocity that was committed. But you have to be extremely sure. There has to be completely circumstantial evidence that the person actually, like for example, murdered someone before he gets the death penalty. There can't be some evidence. There can't be what's the word thinking for? Yeah, that. It has to be like 99.9999999% chance that it actually happened. If it's 95% chance that he did it, lots of times people get the death penalty for that. But there's still a relatively large margin of error.
Okay, sorry, if I may cut in quickly. You spoke quickly about retributive justice. Is that the purpose of our justice system? To give blood in reparation for the crimes committed by someone? Is that what we want as a society?
This is where I jump in. I thought the point of prisons was, or any sort of social establishment, was to improve the condition of society. And we have to ask ourselves, after all of these millions of people have been put in jail, is society really better off while they're in there and while they leave? And I would say no. And I would say the reason why prisons have been created were, again, by whatever power structure at the time is like the ruling class. Generally, they're one of two holding pens for young men and women. The other one is universities. Right, so in universities we turn people into trained monkeys who know how to do one thing sort of well. In prisons we kind of keep them, we keep them.
That's true.
Yeah, and we keep them we leave them as a reserve army for people who should join the army because they have no other choice. So it's like a constant standing army in a way.
Well, to answer your question about what prisons are useful for, and just this is my opinion, but for U.S. law, U.S. v. Miller, 1949, Hugo Black stated that there are 4 reasons why we have criminal law in prisons. We have to punish the person for breaking society's laws, not retribution for what they did to the victim of the crime, but because they violated a rule that they know is in place. You have to teach people not to do that. So you're punishing for that. You have to deter other people from doing it by scaring them pretty much into not doing it by saying this is what happens if you do this. Also, you're taking him off the street so he can't do it again for X amount of time or eternity if you kill him. And 4, you can rehabilitate them maybe.
Well, what right does an illiterate prison warden have to teach some person who's committed a crime how to better society? I mean, it doesn't make sense in any way. You know, I mean, if we really wanted to help people out, I don't think locking them away in prison is the way to do it.
Well, it depends on how the prison operates.
What?
It depends pretty heavily on how the prison is operating.
Right, but in general, it's a place where someone else controls your freedom of movement and most of your life.
Yes, but John schools in England have actually rehabilitated many Johns and prostitutes. They have that too, and there's a really low recidivism rate. But violent offenses, especially rapes and murders, there's a 67% chance of recidivism. So 2 out of the 3 people you throw in jail, if you let them back out, they're going to do it again.
Yes, but you also have to look at the societal factors. Now, why are they committing these rapes and these I guess you could call it cultural violence? Okay, so why are they doing these horrible things? I would say it's not because it's some sort of moral degeneracy on the part of them, because again, most likely it's people of lower incomes and people of brown skin, right? So why are they doing these things? I think society is pushing them towards it. You know, they're desperate, they're poor, they're marginalized, they can't get access to proper education, healthcare, food, many things.
True, it does put them in a bad situation, but that doesn't justify what they've done.
I mean, it doesn't justify what they've done, but if we
throwing
really want to
them in
improve
prison
society,
throwing them in jail doesn't get rid of the causes that
True.
pushes them to these
We
acts.
should focus more on the causes and try to eliminate them before we can cut down prison population. But if you see someone kill someone, we can't just not do anything. Let's go fix the poverty. You can't just ignore the fact that they kill someone.
but you can't just fix poverty. It's not like fixing shingles on your house.
I know, but we should. You're suggesting we should focus on improving their.
Oh,
living
so, I
conditions.
don't know.
We should.
Cut
should.
it
I'm not-
and say the topic was the death penalty, not really prison reform or anything like that. So I think we should sort of, if you could connect it back to the death penalty,
Okay,
that'd be good.
just
Well,
for the
about-
death
alright,
penalty.
about race.
No, for the death penalty, if I could, what if I imprisoned you for 20 years in your basement, and once in a while I brought you out, I put a black hood on you, and I put a gun to your head, and I said, I'm going to kill you. Now, and I did that a couple times.
Would be
I
considered
could-
psychological
I would actually be
torture.
considered torture.
Yeah, psychological
torture.
torture, yeah.
Torture by Geneva Conventions. But if I did that a couple times, then I locked you back in there, and then I took you out one day and I killed you. Now, you would think I was a psychopath. I think rightly so, right? And yet, for some reason, when we pay other people to do this, we consider them. I mean,
But the prison warden is not taking you out and then acting like he's gonna kill you. He actually intends to kill you. And
do
then,
you think
so
that
you're saying-
matters to the guy in the hood?
But so you're saying we should
He would
include the
kill you
appeals
if you didn't
process.
ask for his stay.
Wait, yeah, he's doing it to himself. If he didn't ask for the appeal,
No, he
he
did
would.
it to himself.
He would. If he
You
didn't ask
think-
for the
you think-
appeal,
yeah,
he wouldn't have
right,
been
right,
sent back
okay.
to his cell. He would have just been killed.
But see, I think you give them too much agency. I don't think people in prison have a lot of power.
They
most
can
of the time,
appeal.
again, most of the time, a lot of times they're uneducated and illiterate. They really don't have
They have
much power in
lawyers.
They
society.
can order their lawyer
They
not to
have
appeal.
horrible lawyers. I've met some of these public defenders. They're overworked. They have like
They don't have a right to a
That's what
competent
cases-
attorney. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled on that already.
they don't have a right to what?
A competent public defender.
I know they have
It's
a right.
ruled.
Yes, and just because you say you have a right to, I say
No, they
everyone-
don't have a right to it. The Supreme Court says they do not have a right to it. That's the Supreme
Okay,
Court decision
okay.
from the 90s.
Right, and I think the point of the Supreme Court is to mirror the moral values of the population, right?
Yeah.
Which
Okay.
they
So,
have
does
more
anyone here
implicit
think that
legislation.
criminals don't have a right to a competent defense?
I
I
don't.
mean, I think it'd be great if everyone had a competent lawyer and we all got
No, but
justice.
do you
Everything was
think people have a
perfect.
right to it? I'm not asking whether it, I
I
say
mean, I'm saying we can.
I'm
No, I'm
saying-
saying if we had an infinite amount of competent lawyers, then yes, I think everyone should.
okay. So
I'm saying we don't.
Do you think
though.
everyone does have a right to it or not? It's whether we can reach that goal or not. Do you think everyone does in theory have a right?
No, we should
to
not
it?
And
try
I'm
to
saying
right.
when you use the word right, you use it in the sense that, in the way that someone has a right to be free, or someone has the right,
Or the right by the government.
or how we have the right to vote right now. That
Well, not at all. Not at
You
all. I
essentially
don't
have it.
believe that everyone has. I mean, the right to be free in what sense?
That's like natural rights. He's talking about
Yeah.
government-given rights, like constitutional rights, pretty much.
then yeah, in that sense, yeah, if we are able to do it, then yes, I do agree with that.
But if
So
we're not-
only if we're able to do it. But who is to decide whether we're able? I mean, we're going around in circles here. All I'm asking is, in theory, it doesn't matter if we're able to do it or not. Do you think people have a right to a competent defense attorney?
No, because
Yes, I do agree with that. I know. I think.
Okay.
You
Like, I'm
have
just saying,
to have
he
that right
disagrees
to have
that,
a
but yeah.
valid justice system. You can't do process of law in
You can't say
our
you can't say
jury system.
we're gonna, we don't know if you did this or not, but we're gonna stick you in a cell for 20 years,
As
and
long-
we're not even gonna let you talk to anyone who might be able to help you out at all, prove your innocence. That's what you're saying.
as long as 20% or less of the people, or as long as no more than 20% of the people are
How do you
innocent.
draw that line? How do you pick 20%?
Yeah.
Because 66% of people are recidivism. So if you have even 9 people that are guilty out of the 10 people you throw in jail, you have 6 of those people, if you release them, are going to hurt 6 more people.
Okay,
Opposed to
so
hurting one.
you study statistics. I'm a human being. So yeah.
Well, utilitarianism is for the greater good. I'm
Well,
saying
then,
it's
No,
not-
it's just greater good for who? You have to look at
The
actually
largest amount of
who-
population.
No, it's not that at all. You have to look at which segments of society benefit from having large amounts of poor and black people in prison, and it's generally the middle class and wealthy classes.
we don't want to put innocent people in prison. We should have really high.
Oh, definitely. If you look at the
Probably,
rates
yeah.
of overturned convictions and stays on death penalties,
Yeah, I would.
Probably not
agree.
more than 10%. And as long as it's not more than 20%, it's still better to throw
mean-
those people in jail by accident.
do you think it's still better to just throw people in jail?
By
See,
accident,
That's,
if you
that's
think
very
about-
different because I don't think there should be a coercive state that has the ability to do that. And I don't
Precisely.
think.
'Cause then where do you limit the
Opposed-
government powers?
Opposed to letting bad people out by not.
Well, why do you call them bad people?
Because
what,
they-
you think a prostitute is a bad person?
No,
You
violent.
think-
I'm talking about violent offenses.
So only violent
That's
offenses.
that's what we
Well,
do
how
when
about
it
this?
is violent
How about
offenses.
you pin me to the ground, I punched you. You think I'm a bad person because I punched you?
That's not a violent offense. You're not
That's a
going to jail.
violent offense.
That is a violent
Yeah,
offense.
No.
Yeah.
If I pin him on the ground,
Yeah, but they
And-
can call it self-defense, but
It's
then, but actually,
self-defense.
maybe they could rule that actually it was a violent offense because I punched you a lot harder than you deserved.
Exactly. That happens
It
all
would
the
constitute
time.
assault in
No,
most cases.
it would
Yeah,
no,
it
it would
would.
definitely would not. If I assaulted him by tackling him, it's the same as Darren Venerable down in like the DU.
Yeah,
side.
okay.
He was like the other guy was on top of him and he stabbed the guy. That's why it was self-defense. That's why he didn't go to jail. If I'm on top of him trying to hurt him, he has the right to do whatever it takes to get me off of him.
Okay, but I'm saying it's conditional. It's not always the case that happens. I think that boy was incredibly lucky that happened to him. It would have been a terrible tragedy if he'd gone to jail.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But that doesn't happen in every case. There are cases where people get into fights and both parties end up going to jail.
So would you rather see more guilty murderers, rapists out on the streets along with the innocent people that we didn't go to jail, or would you rather see some innocent
Here's
people
where
jail
we differ is
with them?
because I don't want to wave my hands in tomorrow. All of a sudden, the walls that are holding in all these people disappear, and all of a sudden they're free to do whatever the hell they want. I don't think that's not what I'm talking
I
about.
know.
I'm talking about focusing more on mitigating the factors that cause people to commit these crimes in the first place.